welcome to Are We the Only Ones? I'm Kathy, and today I'm going to talk about Iran. Okay, so we are now at war with Iran, and in the process, the USS Gerald Ford carrier decided that they were going to do a mutiny, and they flooded the toilets with their shirts, undershirts, and stuff like that you wear under your uniform. They were using that to flood the toilets to make it unoperational, to delay it from going into support in the war of Iran. We are in alliance with Israel, which obviously is very corrupt. And so we have to sort of, we're living through history right now, and we have to resist as much as we can, but at the same time, we need to support our troops, because as somebody who was in the military community for 9 years with the Navy and the Marine Corps as a spouse, I am very, very empathetic. When we were deployed and living in Japan, it was very real. Whenever there was exercises and stuff like that, to go to the DMZ as a spouse, having to worry about like live fire practice and stuff like that. So now you have real war, you have real bombs hitting military destroyers from the United States that are there because they have to be. I've flown through Doha on Qatar Airways when I was going to go to my mom's funeral, her actual funeral, and Doha was like, that airport was a huge comfort to me during that time going across, and Qatar Airways was a huge comfort to me also, flying over there for my mom's funeral. It was the only way I would get on that plane, was being on that particular airline in that particular cabin. And it really is hard for me to see that a place that I know operated in a certain amount of tranquility, and they have their rules, but it's a very interesting kind of like mixture of how the airport is the one place where everybody can talk to each other of any gender freely. And so to see, like in Dubai, they hit that airport. I have also flown through Dubai. And it's weird when you have an airport, because the only way you can leave is the airport. So if they hit the airport, nobody can escape, right? Also, things can't fly in for support. They hit military bases. It was really strange to see people cheering. But of course, I understand if you're there and you feel that you don't want them there, you don't want us there, you don't want a military base there in general. But it's also very difficult as somebody who was in support of the military officially for such a long time, to not feel both sides. Like, I definitely feel the empathy for our military service members. I implore everybody to support the military through this. This is not a decision that they get to really decide on their own, and it's very difficult. Like, the fact that they even did the mutiny, I think is a very interesting moment in history for military as well. In terms of even military history, that's a new one. And for everybody to understand why. Like, I totally understand why they would do that. I don't think there's even going to be like a lot of punishment, because in this particular instance, this is not something that makes any sense. This war is not really this is not a legal war at all. It's not authorized by Congress, which is supposed to be. There's a lot of problems with the way this was done. It's totally illegal. And, we have people that are actually named in like satanic cult rituals in the Epstein files are running our world right now. And it is our responsibility to resist, because we have to believe that good will triumph, and good cannot triumph if we're apathetic about it. I think all religion is complicated, but I think we all can agree that we're not like gonna bow down to a loser satanic cult that went through every single cheating black market system to try to get there. And luckily we did. Obviously they wanted to be hidden because they need to be hidden, and now they're not hidden anymore. We can do something about it. I think the systems that they want us to believe in, I think we just reconfigure. I don't think it's important for us to move out of our comfort of our homes, parents' homes. You don't kick your kids out if you don't want to. If they aren't doing as well, you don't look at them like there's something wrong with them. Like, all those things have changed now because of the fact that these are systems built by people that have no morality. So I'm not plugging into that system anymore. I do feel like people should still run for office. I do believe that women running for office is one of the keys to fixing a lot of our problems. I don't know if Kamala Harris throwing her hat in the ring for 2028, I don't know, but she's got to run the primary. I think it's good for her to have to go through a primary. If she gets it, she gets it. I'll support it if she gets it. I think I'd rather see, I don't want like another Clinton 2.0 though, you know? So I feel like maybe the primary will tell us everything we need to know. All I know is in the Democratic primary, I want a new contender that isn't into the old system, because I don't believe that if you're in the old system, I just feel like you've crossed paths with this satanic cult in some way. And so I just don't think that you should be anywhere near in charge if those people can still get through to you and talk to you and convince you of anything. Or if you owe them any favors, or they were once nice to you. Like, I would not doubt that Donald Trump, when you see him one-on-one, if you ever met him one-on-one, is probably one of the most charming, nicest people that you've ever met. I don't doubt that's probably true. That's probably how he made it as far as he made it, despite being a total freaking POS. I have to assume that the charm on a one-on-one meeting is how he moves. And then maybe stabs you in the back. But you don't get that far without knowing how to, like, get people on your side to do things for you, and then do things for free, essentially. Get bullied by you, you know? I think that he's been very good at grooming, and this is the entire thing that we're going through, is we're all getting groomed into thinking this is all normal. And we have a right to stand up. At this point, we still have rights to stand up. Are we going to use our rights? That's what I want to know. Are we still going to use our rights, or are we all standing down? Where are we at right now? What do we feel right now? I'm curious. Is it going to be women taking the fight? Is it going to be people of color? Is it going to be people with privilege? This is not a situation of pure racism. This is just a situation where this particular government, intertwined with other governments, has decided that there's going to be a genocide of poor people, disabled people, and then in that mix, any political enemies that they have. Because those are the people that can't fight back. Children. This is the most cowardly government we've ever had, and yet they're making a lot of progress on what they want, dismantling things that we've held true. I think France being able to freeze the assets of Elon Musk after finding that he did interfere with their elections, which most likely means he interfered with our elections. What are we going to do? Are we going to freeze his assets? Silicon Valley, I'd like to know what you're going to do. Like, seriously. As a daughter of Silicon Valley, I would like to know. Los Altos, what are you going to do? The only person staying in Silicon Valley of those billionaires is Jensen Huang, who is the CEO of NVIDIA. I used to work for a company that was an early investor in NVIDIA, so I'm very familiar with NVIDIA. From like 1985, that's how familiar with NVIDIA I am. Okay, so he's the only one that's willing to stay in Silicon Valley and he's willing to pay the taxes. What does that say about Florida? He's like, no, I'm good. He went to all those things. He's like, I don't want to be friends with these people. I don't want to be that close. I'm staying here. And they all left. Zuckerberg is leaving. He's going there. Good riddance. Trust me. We don't want you in Silicon Valley. Oh my God. Who had satanic worship on their bingo card? I didn't. I did not. Anyway. I don't know. We have accountability from international governments. We have no accountability in the U.S. government. Congress is talking about voting in a 25th Amendment committee that would be a separate entity that would be able to determine the mental capacity of a president. I think that's a good idea. What do you think? I like the idea. I think it's necessary. Yeah. Anyway, tell me what you think. Are you disappointed? Are you... What? You think this is normal? You're not surprised? When you look at art, you see all the gross art about, like, child brides from Renaissance era. Like, this is not unheard of. We've known this about our societies and stuff, but in this modern day, you see we are coming out of it, like the Wayfair furniture cabinet situation. That was crazy. I cannot believe that they got away with that for so long. So if you don't know, girls that have been kidnapped, their names have been used as the names of cabinets that people put up for listings on Wayfair, and then they charge like something like $15,000 for the cabinet. And that's how you know it's like a human trafficking sale. And Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, who was like listed as his wife, and I'm guessing that they probably got married in like a private ceremony or something. She is controlling all his money. There's a transaction where she bought a Wayfair cabinet for like $8,700 or something like that. So, where is she? Can they not find her? What's going on? The guy who bought Zorro Ranch is now running for office. Trump has endorsed him. I mean, this stuff is so blatantly, it's crazy. It's blatantly obvious. And it is sort of, to an extent, trying to tell us we can just get away with it. You guys shouldn't bother. So I'm flip-flopping between like how hard to resist and how to like just sort of be like, I'll resist from afar and like just go live my life, Because I almost want to be like, I draw the line at like satanic cult. I don't know. But I'm also in like my resistance gear, Star Wars resistance gear. Because in this time period of my life right now, I just feel like I need to like go into a fantasy world of like, okay, this is the morality that we're looking for, because the real world right now has so little morality by people that we expect morality from, that I have to resort to a fantasy of real resistance. I mean, I guess it's cool that George Lucas created Star Wars as inspiration from the Vietnam War being Vietnamese. I get it, but like, my God, what is happening right now? I think the other interesting thing that I'm noticing is affirmative action. This is a very major pivot in terms of this, but affirmative action has never been really helpful for Asians. And even as such, you would think there'd be more Asian people in government leading, because we know statistically Asian people are very academically successful, whether through hard work ethic or natural gifted talent. I mean, obviously, like in my household, my husband, who is not Asian, he's white, I would definitely say is like smarter than me. Definitely say he's more accomplished than me from a very much like intellectual standpoint. But I am well aware that Asians are very good at a lot of things academically. That's what Asian people are known for. However, in the Olympics and with sports lately, I am so proud of Asian people being able to rise up as an athletic force, because that is the one place where you can't like discriminate necessarily, right? Because it's sports. It's like full merit based. And in international competition, Asian people right now are rising to the occasion and stepping away from academic sort of like, not academia, but like only doing things that like through your intellectual prowess, it necessarily does not pan out as well as maybe like now industries where Asians are not like as well known. If you're going to sports and stuff like that, all of a sudden there's more representation and it looks a little bit different, right? But to me, it's also ironic. The world is sort of rebalancing itself. It's showing us where the evil really is. It's showing us where merit is. It's showing us, like as much as they're trying to stop DEI, there's so many young kids right now that are Black, that are girls, that are inventing cool things. So I think that they can try, but the reality is the MAGA fantasy of all white people running everything would not result in a society that would be thriving, because the reality is all the privilege that white people have had has made it harder for them to do the dirty work and not feel like it's not good enough for them. And so that's just the reality. That's just the reality. And structurally, it's not possible for that setup now because we're too much of a global society. So it's just like not going to work. It's a self-fulfilling implosion. And I mean, I'm not even open to like having a gated community where people could go in and like, if you want to do that, you can do that. And you can do it as an experiment. But like, if it doesn't work, well, you concede. Yeah. If Donald Trump wants to open up a gated community with all racists and his MAGA people live there, I don't think, why doesn't he do that? That seems like right up his alley. Why would you do a university when you could just do a housing development, a gated community, and just be like MAGA only? That's the solution we need. Maybe instead of like having all these wars, you just say, all right, you guys want to open up your gated community that's specific to this, we'll give you a charter. Just like if we would give Native Americans a charter to like have gaming, okay, we will give you a charter in the specific state of Alabama, Arkansas, one of those. You could have an entire gated community and these are your rules. And if it fails, then you can see that it's not going to work. Hey? I don't know. Tell me what you think. Am I onto something? Let me know. All right, give me a follow, like, subscribe. Instagram, Facebook, Substack, YouTube, all the things. Send me an email if you'd like to discuss. Comment. Anywhere, everywhere. Are we the only ones? Pod. All right, until next time.